Good morning, Safari Mack fans, and an official welcome to North America. I'm your guide and your host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, it certainly took us a long time, but here we are. We have finally reached the land of opportunity. First of all, before we begin today's episode, I'd like to just take a quick minute and explain what we're going to do and how we're going to do our tour of North America. First of all, we are situated here in the southeastern United States. As we will go up north, and then once we do, we will begin to head west. But as we do go west, we'll go up and down the continent a couple of times so that you and I can explore as many different kinds of habitats and meet different kinds of animals, where we will then eventually end our tour of North America in the state that is often called the last frontier, what you and I best know as the state of Alaska. But today, we are here in the state of Florida, where we are going to go after one of the most iconic of America's most endangered species, the Florida Panther. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let us begin our journey. First of all, let's begin with their history and their family, starting more specifically with their family first. Now, despite the name Panther, and most of these animals actually share the Panthera as their first scientific name, these animals are not part of the panther's family. The lion, tiger, jaguar, leopard, and the very elusive snow leopard, which we have yet to uncover. No, these cats are not with the same family as the panthers, as these are part of the big cat family, because unlike our friend the panther, only the big cats are able to roar. So I'm afraid this cat is really wasting his time. So instead, the Florida Panther is part of the little cat family, which includes cheetahs, pumas, cougars, or mountain lions. Basically, it's the same animal. They just go by many different names. The bobcat, and of course our very famous house cat. Now, Florida Panthers are just a subspecies of like the cougar, puma, mountain lions. But let's now talk a little bit about their history. See, the ancient ancestor of cats started out in Asia roughly around 11 million years ago. But it wouldn't be until 8.5 to 8 million years ago that they would cross over the North American and Asian land bridge of the previous ice ages, where the ancestors of these cats, like I've mentioned, the cougar, puma, mountain lion, bobcat, and the very special lynx, that's Lynx, would cross it over that bridge and begin to evolve and create their own bloodlines in North America, becoming some of the most effective predators that North America has ever seen. Now, let's talk about, for the Florida Panther, their place in Florida. First of all, you're not going to find them in Miami or down in Orlando. That is, unless you're in the rural areas. See, Florida Panthers prefer the quiet ranges of Florida, which includes the pinelands, a very dry kind of habitat, the tropical hammocks that you see on this background, and of course, freshwater swamplands, where they're able to find as many different kinds of prey that they can to satisfy their hunger, as they fulfill their roles in nature as being predators for prey animals to prevent these areas from being overgrazed and destroyed by herbivores. Now, if you want to go, most of the time in Florida, a Floridian will tell you that they have never seen a Florida Panther. So if you wanted to really look for them, you would have to visit some of these big places like Big Cypress National Preserve, the Everglades National Park, the Florida Panther National Wildlife Refuge, even the Picuan Strand State Forest. But believe it or not, you can even find them in deep rural areas of different counties such as Collier, Hendry, Lee, Miami-Dade, and Monroe County. Now, here these predators are completely solitary animals. They do not ever live together, and they don't seem to want to have to share each other's territories. The only times where you would ever see them together is if it was a mother with her cubs, or if it was a male and a female coming together to breed. Now, as I've mentioned, these cats are incredibly rare. How do they get so rare? We'll discuss that at a little later time. But for now, let's get back to our program. So, male panthers usually do not like to have anybody in their territory. No other males, not even females. They are very aggressive. So, females have to take a little extra precaution when crossing over or when they're trying to attract a male to become the father of her cubs. After a gestation period of 92 to 96 days, she can give birth from anywhere from 1 cub to 4 cubs. At first, they are born with spots all over, as well as they have a very special kind of bluish blue eyes that over time will take on a more natural yellow hue, as well as their spots will eventually fade away. But these spots are perfect for blending into their environment or staying hidden in their dens from different predators, such as coyotes, other panthers that would kill cubs of others to give their own cubs the chance to survive, and many other different predators. If they got a chance, maybe eagles or raptors would get a chance to kill them. But now, as I've mentioned, males tend to have a larger area. That's because males are actually considered to be considered to be a bit bigger, maybe like 1/3 bigger than the females, and even 1/3 heavier than the females. Usually, a female weighs around 64 to 100 pounds, while males tend to weigh from 100 to 159 pounds. During their time with mom, they spend 2 years learning everything that they need to know on how to survive, how to defend themselves from other predators, how to claim territory, and of course, the next topic, how to hunt for their food. So, Florida Panthers being apex predators in their environment, they're going after game animals. So, deer, feral hog, raccoons, even marsh hares or rabbits that hang out in the swamplands. These creatures are known to have an amazing burst of speed, roughly reaching speeds up to 35 miles an hour. But like all other cats, they've only got a short burst of speed. So unless they can get close to their prey, which is probably 30 to 40 feet, they don't stand a chance. Unfortunately, now they try to stay away from humans, but unfortunately, those that are living in the rural areas, they often come into contact with ranchers, so they would sometimes are known to go over the fence or go through the fence, and they will take livestock. So cattle, goats, sheep, some domesticated pigs. It's been known to happen, and sometimes, unfortunately, there have been reports of these animals taking the lives of families' pets, so dogs or cats. This is why I would like to inform everybody and just give a special reminder and a special tip. If you do have pets and if you're out in the wooded area, don't leave it to chance. Don't leave them outside. Always keep them inside your house. It'll be easier for everybody. Now, let's talk a little bit about their role in human cultures. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is pretty amazing. First of all, these are the Calusas. They were Native Americans that were pretty much spread almost throughout all of Florida, as well as a good part of the Gulf of Mexico. They lived on mostly gathering game as well as oyster fishing and fishing just for other forms of life. People. So they lived pretty well, and they even honored the Florida Panther through a special way. This is the key Marco cat. Now this 1.5 foot tall wooden carving seems to represent like their way of giving thanks and maybe even worshiping the Florida Panther as some kind of a god. Now, as you can see, it's pretty close to that of like ancient Egypt. But they are also known as the state animal thanks to a poll from school children in 1982, as well as they're even named after a ice hockey game that actually gives a portion of their winning money to conservation projects to help the Florida Panther. Well, I'm afraid that's all I have time for today. Hit that like and subscribe button, check out my Facebook page, and send me an email if you have a question. But until next week with part 2, this is Safari Mack, and I'll see you all out there.